all, welcome to my channel. Today we're doing another look with the Lunar Beauty Moonspell number 2 palette. I promised a 3 looks 1 palette video, but I think I'm just going to do one look and then maybe edit to or get ready with me in a later stage. So I hope that's okay. For those of you who missed my review or any of the other hundreds of reviews that are online, this is what the palette looks like. And these are the shades. So it's a beautiful burgundy, pinky, purpley, reddish palette. I did play with it a couple of times off camera and I really liked the looks that came out of it. I did think that there were some redundant shades and some shades that could have been a little bit different to add a little bit more to the palette. Like a couple of deeper shades, maybe one more very light shade, something like that. I think that was missing a little bit. But overall I really like the palette and I can't wait to do another look with you. So if you're interested in that, then please keep watching. Real quick before we get started, I want to thank you so much for clicking on my video. My name is Cecile, I'm 28 years old, I live in the Netherlands and I upload 2 to 3 times a week with makeup related content. Sometimes I post an art video and if that sounds good to you then please consider subscribing. So now let's get into the look. So because it's now almost winter and there isn't a lot of light later on in the day and I have to film later on in the day, I think I'm only going to be able to work with artificial light from now on. But I think this works. I have a ring light, I have a daylight lamp and I have my overhead lamp. And I think it's going to be okay. So I'm just going to use my Icing Primer by Glamlight in the shade Classic Vanilla. So what are we going to do today? I think I did a pretty red look in my first video and I did mainly play with the reds again in my later sessions. So I want to see how purple you can get with this palette. And I kind of want to see how deep the purple mattes are. Because it was the red matte, this Queenie shade over here, that was a little bit disappointing to me. So we're going to see how deep we can get with Macy. And I'm just going to start with a small pencil brush and I'm going to put this in the outer corner. Yes, it's not super intensely dark, but right off the bat it's a lot better than the Queenie shade. So I'm just putting this in the outer corner. And then when there's very little on my brush, I am blending it over through the crease. I'm also putting this underneath the lower lash line. I'm afraid this isn't going to be a super complicated look. I really just want to test these purple shades. Yeah, I really like this purple. It builds on itself and it's pretty dark on the first layer. I think I'm going to do it like this. So I'm going to make a pretty intense lower lash line. Really see if I can fill the little divot that's underneath my eye. So I think I got my basic shapes down. I'm afraid that if I go too high up here, then it's going to reach my eyebrow in a moment. So I'm going to keep it like this. I'm going to clean up my brush in this color switch. Now I'm going to lighten the edges with the color Jillian, which is this pinky shade over here. This is significantly lighter than the first shade I used, but still mid-toned. So I'm just going to put that on top of the purple shade. And that is giving me the effect that I desire. I feel like the purples in this palette are better than the reds. Or at least these deeper purples are a lot better than that deeper red was. So my main objective right now is to make sure that the purple blends seamlessly into the lighter purple. And then I'm going to worry about blending in the purple to my skin tone. So I'm just taking a little bit more of Jillian, because I feel like there's a hard edge over here. Alright, this works. I like the intensity of that purple in the outer corner. I am very tempted to add a little bit of black, but I'm not going to. I'm going to keep it nice and colorful. So now I'm really making sure the brush is pretty clean. I'm even wiping off on my hand to make sure. Because there's not actually a lot of lighter shades than Jillian. I think I can take Alex, which is a little bit lighter. And I'm just going to use that to blend out Jillian. Yeah, that works. That works fine. It's actually a lot lighter than I was expecting. But if there were a lot of dark purple remaining on this brush, then this technique really wouldn't work anymore. I'm also going to blend out the outside of the eyeshadow quite a bit. I usually stop a little bit more close to my eye, but I kind of feel like going pretty heavy with it. Yes, that's nice. That's really nice. Now I'm going to take my glitter primer by NYX. I'm just going to take a little bit and put it all over the lids. Because I did hear from other people, and it's also my own experience, that this palette has shimmers that are just not quite as intense as you'd like them to be. So therefore I'm adding the glitter primer. Now I'm taking a flat shader brush and I'm going into the shade Louise, which is this satin dark purple, or at least I think it's a satin. I'm going to put that on the outer half of my lid. This is a pretty shade, and I do think for where I'm putting it now it's perfect. But I wouldn't have minded a little bit more shimmer with this one. But it is very creamy and smooth. I'm cleaning up the brush and I'm going into the shade Myrtle, which is this purple over here. And I'm going to see if this is a little bit more sparkly. This has a little bit of a blue flip to it. But it's not a lot more sparkly than Louise. I'm just going to add a little bit more. I do think this is pretty. I don't hate it. Alright, so finally I'm going into Luna, which is actually my favorite shade in the palette so far. Because this is an actual glittery shade. And I'm going to put that in the most inner part of my lid. Yeah, that really is a beautiful shade. Just putting it a little bit over the previous shade, but I'm mainly keeping it in the inner part of the lid. And I'm also going to take this underneath the lower lash line, right underneath the tear duct. Alright, and then finally we're going to take Agatha, which is the white shimmer, and I'm going to put that in the inner corner. I'm going to add some eyeliner, some mascara, maybe some false lashes, of course the most of my face makeup, and then we can finish the face together. I'm back. I finished my eye makeup. I finished most of my base makeup, but we're going to do a blush, a highlight, a lip, and some powder together. I did use the YSL blurring primer. I used the Guerlain Haute Perfection L'Essentiel foundation, my Fenty cream bronzer in the shade Amber as a contour, and I used my Anastasia Brow Freeze and the NYX Lift and Snatch on my brows. Then I used the Douglas home brand style of lashes, the Ultra Volume ones, which are nice, but they're not really sticking very well. Yesterday I was wearing some lashes from Ardell, and they were so much prettier and so much more comfortable that I'm kind of contemplating buying more of those. And then I used my LA Girl eyeliner on the lower lash line, or like on the waterline, and my Essence Lash Princess mascara. So that's what you missed. And since I wanted to use cream products for my cheeks, I didn't powder yet. So we're going to do those things together. I think we're going to use my NYX Sweet Cheeks Soft Cheek Tint in the shade Nude Dude. I haven't used this a whole lot yet, and I want to see a little bit better what I feel about it. It's this great moussey texture, but it blends out to be a lot more sheer than what it looks like right now. So I'm just adding it a little bit higher on top of my cheeks. And then I'm taking my finger and I'm just patting. Pat, pat, pat. A little bit in every direction. And then I'm also using my other finger. And see how beautiful it blends out. It's really easy to blend out with your fingers. And I kind of like this placement as well. So now I am going to use just a little bit of powder. I'm going to use my Essence Brighten Up powder. And I'm using this small brush from Real Techniques. I'm just patting out all the creases underneath my eye. I'm just powdering underneath my eyes. And right here next to my nose. I'm also going to put a little bit of powder on top of my nose, in between the brows, and on top of my lip. I think I'm good on the bronzer slash blush department, so I'm just going to add a highlight. And the one that I had in mind that I haven't used in a while, on camera at least, is this one from I Heart Revolution. This was from their Aristocats collaboration, and this is in the shade Beloved. It has the little print of a paw in it, which is almost gone. I use this quite a lot, but I haven't used it on camera in a while. And it's a nice pinky, purpley shade. So I'm just going to put this right in between my eye and my cheekbone, and a little bit downwards. I still think this is a beautiful highlighter. Also putting a little bit down my nose, on top of my lip, and a little bit on the chin. And you know what? I'm also putting a little bit on top of my brows. I'm not going anywhere anymore tonight. Otherwise I would probably skip a couple of places. And then just blend out with whatever is remaining on the brush. I'm going to do a nude lip, because I usually do something very pinky with this and I want to do something else. So I'm taking my brown pencil by Chanel in the shade Nude Brun. And I'm just going to line my lips. That doesn't work when you've already started. I like this. It's actually a little bit darker than I remember. So I thought I would pair this with my very nude, very pale Burberry lipstick in the shade 500. This one is called Nude Beige. And on its own, it's a little bit too light, but I think maybe with this lip liner it'll work. yeah, that works pretty okay. I meshed it a little bit together and I like this. I'm not usually one to do this darker lip liner than lipstick thing that's still a trend. But I kind of like it like this, with the bold eye. Just going to unleash my hair. Alright, this is it for the finished look. I really like this eye look. I really like this look altogether. It really came together very well, I think. My number one issue is these lashes, but the palette worked beautifully and I do really like the look that came out of it. So yeah, it's a good palette for a purple look for sure. I do think I like the burgundy looks at the moment a little bit better, but I still really like this look. So thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you in the next video.